Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Tuesday, July 27th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Hamilton, it's 12:30, and in Mexico City, 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. We've got an air crash today, and we'll go to the first story. This morning, a Lufthansa cargo plane, an MD-11 of the type pictured here, crashed in Saudi Arabia while trying to land at the King Khalid International Airport in the capital of Riyadh. According to local sources, this is local Saudi TV, the plane split in two and then caught on fire following the crash landing. People say that they saw smoke, black smoke, coming out of the aircraft as it was attempting to land. The fire has been put out. The only two people on board the plane were reportedly the pilot and co-pilot. Both of them were only lightly injured and were being treated at a hospital. There was no further information as to what might have caused the crash. The plane, the MD-11, took off from Frankfurt International Airport in Germany. It was flight 8460. It was en route to Saudi Arabia to King Khalid International Airport. A witness told Agence France-Presse that the aircraft is totally finished, i.e. a total loss. Insurance Insider is reporting that Allianz, the German insurer, is on the lead for the hull insurance. We've been trying to find out what the hull insurance on an MD-11 might be. We've been yet unable to obtain that information, but at least there were no deaths and apparently no injuries. Well, the Love Parade concert in Germany, where 19 people died over the weekend, is having some ramifications. AXA's German subsidiary was the liability insurer for the concert. About 80 of those 300 people injured suffered serious to critical injuries. AXA has 100% of the risk. The event was insured for €7.5 million with AXA, according to confirmation from an AXA spokesman. The organizers are likely to have to face high compensation claims for loss of income, pain and suffering that would also extend to the relatives of those who died. According to George Brausch, member of Marsh in Germany, the psychological damage caused by the trauma will also be of relevance. The organizers, he said, will be held responsible if they are found to have been negligent. Organizers for concerts like this are required to ensure that the entrance and exit to the event are safe. They have to be prepared for more people to come than expected. They have to take precautionary measures to prevent mass panic breaking out. They're not supposed to rely solely on security. Can we pull that picture up again, please? This certainly would be a situation, if you can see this, where mass panic would be ready to break out. There are many other pictures, you can see them on Google, where the people were packed in like sardines, and obviously the tunnel where the people began to fall down and ended up being stampeded was a very tight fit. AXA indicated that they're not prepared to make a statement on questions of liability yet. They said, quote, "We are at the very end of the chain of investigations." They did, however, say, "We are the responsible insurer. There is no doubt about that, and we will stand by that." Well, just in case you didn't think people could still be exiled to Siberia, check with Tony Hayward. He's going to be replaced by Bob Dudley, who's an American, on October 1st as the CEO of BP. The company reported a record quarterly loss and set aside about $32 billion to cover the cost of the Gulf spill. BP said that the decision to replace Hayward was made by mutual agreement. In a mark of faith in Hayward, BP said it's planning to recommend him for a non-executive board position at its Russian joint venture. It's also going to pay him his salary, $1.6 million, instead of the year's notice he was entitled to. The chairman of BP said the board is deeply saddened to lose a CEO whose success over some 3 years in driving the performance of the company was so widely and deservedly admired. Dudley is from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and is a Gulf Coast native, so it's expected that his sensitivity will be a little bit higher on the scale insofar as reaching out to people in that area. Well, if Joseph Cassano thought he was off the hook at AIG Financial Products, he's mistaken. New York Attorney General Andrew Cuomo has reopened an investigation into the business practices of Cassano, who is the former head of the London offices of AIG Financial Products. AIG FP was the unit of AIG that marketed the credit default swaps that brought the insurer to the brink of bankruptcy 2 years ago. Cuomo revived his investigation into Cassano a month after the U.S. SEC dropped its probe, and 2 months after the U.S. Justice Department abandoned its investigation. The stock market in New York is down about 12 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
Design for peace.
Our friend Bill Berkley is predicting a turn in the cycle insofar as inadequate underwriting returns. Berkley said that he remains cautiously optimistic after he unveiled the first half net profit of about $229 million. It's up from $77 million for the first half of last year. Mr. Berkley said prices are beginning to stabilize in most areas. Overall, prices were down less than only 1% for the quarter. Given the current investment environment, adequate returns can only be achieved by improved underwriting results. He said, looking ahead, we believe current investment yields and unsatisfactory underwriting year pricing are generating inadequate current levels of return for the industry. Not for him, apparently. He's a well-run company. As we approach the end of the year, it's likely our competitors will reach a similar conclusion and pricing will improve. Of course, Berkley made an announcement in May that his company will be raising premiums on deepwater oil rig cover by 40% as a result of the Deepwater Horizon loss. Premiums rose for the first time in 15 quarters at Berkley during the second quarter of 2010, helping to generate a net profit of $110 million for the 3-month period. That represented a 13% increase compared with a net profit of $97 million during the second quarter of 2009. Out in western Michigan, there's a bit of an oil spill. A leaking pipeline has spilled about 840,000 gallons of oil into a creek leading to the Kalamazoo River. This was last night. This is according to the Enbridge Energy Partners company. That's the company that has responsibility for the spill. The leak coming from a pipeline, a 30-inch pipeline that carries about 8 million gallons of oil a day from Griffith, Indiana to Ontario, Canada, ended up spilling into the Talmadge Creek, which then flows northwest into the Kalamazoo River. The timing of the spill is bad because recent storms have widened the Kalamazoo and it causes it to carry the oil more quickly. The spill is about 3 miles away now from Battle Creek, Michigan. In Europe, IBM, the world's biggest provider of computer services, is being investigated by the EU over claims that it abused its dominant position in the market for mainframe computers. The probe is reviewing claims that IBM links sales of its hardware to its software for mainframe computers and that IBM discriminated against competing sellers of services for the computers. This should sound familiar. IBM said that the probe was the result of a campaign by proxies of competitors led by Microsoft.